morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mark by Maculada, and today I am going to teach you how to use the diversity wheel by Loden and Rosner. But before that, let us have first a brief look back or history of what the diversity wheel is. In 1990, Marilyn Loden and Judy Rosner developed a framework for thinking about the different dimensions of diversity within individuals and institutions. Depicted as concentric circles, this diversity wheel can be used in many different ways to encourage thinking about values, beliefs, and dimensions of identity for people and organizations. Now, we are going to adopt the Workforce America Managing Employee Diversity as a vital resources provided by McGraw-Hill Professional Publishing in 1990, of which they have included the wheel as a graphic and as a reference for us to use the diversity wheel. Now, there are following facilitations on how to use the diversity wheel with staff to encourage dialogue and new perspective talking. Now, to use the diversity wheel, there are three facilitations. The facilitation number one is, after spending time looking at the wheel, invite the participants to write down 5 things that describe who they are. The top 5 things they think of when they think of describes themselves. Ideally, you have passed out post-it notes and can encourage staff to write 1 characteristics on each of 5 post-it notes. Also, the descriptions don't have to line up with the categories on the wheel, but it can be helpful to think of them that way. Invite participants to locate their characteristics on the diversity wheel and then talk with 1 or 2 other people about how they identify themselves and what they noticed when they tried to put their characteristics into the areas of the wheel. Now, facilitation number 2. After spending time looking at the wheel, invite participants to write down on 5 post-it notes or paper the 5 things that describe who they are. The top 5 things they think of when they think to describe themselves. Ask individuals to take a look at all 5 and then turn 1 over and set it aside. After 2 seconds, ask them to set another aside and then another. When they have gotten down to 1 post-it note, invite them to share with 1 other person the post-it note or the paper that they saved. The facilitation number 3, invite participants to write down 5 identifying features about themselves. Ask them to take 1 of them away and then another. Now, invite them to turn to another person, share their original 5, and talk about why they selected the 2 identity. Would they have made a different choice in a different environment? Talk a bit about how we may change how we identify when in different environments. How does this apply to your organization environment? Are these changes that you want to make in your organizational environment that might change how people identify? This activity was developed or adapted as part of Cultural Competence Learning Institute, a partnership between ASTC, ACM, and Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose. And I just use it as a reference on how to utilize the diversity wheel of Loden'S and Rosner. That would be all, and thank you.
Remember when I told you no matter where I go, I'm